Ever had one of those conversations with a married woman where something just felt different? Not blatantly wrong or overtly suggestive, but something subtle. The way she glanced your way, leaned in when you spoke, or asked questions that felt a little too personal. You told yourself it was nothing, just polite conversation. But in your gut, something didn't quite sit right. Here's a truth that's rarely talked about among men, especially our age. Married women can absolutely feel attraction. They can crave connection. Sometimes they're not getting the emotional depth or attention they once had at home. And then you walk in, not because you flirted, not because you crossed a line, but because, without knowing it, you carry something she's been missing. A grounded presence, steady confidence, quiet masculine energy that says more in silence than words ever could. She may never say anything directly. Most don't. But you'll see it in the subtle cues, in the moments when she thinks you're not paying attention. The shift in her tone, the way she watches how you interact with others, how her energy changes when it's just the two of you. Most men shrug it off, others get blindsided. But the few who are emotionally sharp and self-aware, they catch it early and handle it with calm, wise restraint, not impulsiveness. Now listen, just because a married woman shows these signs doesn't mean she's some kind of villain. It doesn't mean she's planning to cheat or leave her husband. It means she's human, and something in her, maybe buried for years, is waking up around you. That doesn't make her bad, and it sure doesn't make you guilty, but it does mean you've got a responsibility to recognize what's real, what's innocent, and what's quietly crossing a line. See, attraction isn't always loud. It rarely is. It's not roses and poetry like the movies show. Often, it's a flicker, a lingering glance, a pause in the conversation, a by the way that carries more meaning than it should. And when that comes from a married woman, the game changes. Let's be clear, this isn't about judgment. I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong. I'm here to share awareness. Because if you're a man who carries quiet strength, who listens closely and speaks with purpose, odds are you've experienced this, even if you didn't fully realize it. She stayed near you a little too long, laughed a bit too loud, found a reason to strike up a chat that didn't need to happen. You told yourself, it's just my imagination, she's married, it's innocent. But your instincts whispered otherwise. And you know what? Instincts are often dead on. A lot of married women, especially those in emotionally cold or mentally distant marriages, aren't hunting for another man. But they are seeking a feeling, a spark, that sensation of being seen again, valued again, truly noticed. It's not always about infidelity, it's about emotional response. And when you walk in as a man with self-control, with clarity and grounded presence, you stir something she may have forgotten even existed. You didn't do anything wrong, you didn't try to seduce, but your energy, your way of being, your quiet power, it impacts people, especially someone who hasn't felt that kind of presence in a long time. Now, what she says may sound normal, but her expressions and subtle behavior, they tell the real story. This conversation isn't about fantasy. It's not about games. It's not about disrespect. It's about being wise, like reading situations for what they are. Being a high-value man isn't just about attracting attention. It's knowing how to respond when that attention carries emotional weight. So maybe you felt that odd tension before, that invisible pull between you and a married woman. You questioned yourself. Did that just happen? Was that flirting? But the moment passed and you moved on. Confused maybe, but trying to be respectful. If you've been there, you're not alone. And you're not crazy for noticing. That's why today we're diving into 4 subtle signs a married woman might be quietly, even unconsciously attracted to you. Not the obvious signs, not the dramatic movie-style stuff. I'm talking about quiet signals most men miss, but the self-aware man notices immediately. And more importantly, you'll know how to handle it. Not with ego, not with lust, but with calm discernment. Sign number 1. She reflects you without realizing it. You're chatting in a casual setting, maybe a workplace, coffee shop, or social event, and you start to notice something odd. You lean back, and a few seconds later, she does too. You cross your arms, and like clockwork, she mirrors that move. It's subtle, and if you weren't paying attention, you'd miss it. This isn't mimicry. It's deeper than that. Psychologists call it the chameleon effect. When someone feels drawn to another person, whether they realize it or not, they unconsciously copy their posture, their energy, even their speech patterns. It's a built-in human behavior designed to foster connection. Now, here's the catch. Most emotionally committed women don't do this with other men unless something inside them is trying to process or suppress an attraction they don't fully understand. When she starts echoing your body language, matching your tone, or adopting your phrasing, it's not manipulation. It's a quiet admission, one she may not even recognize herself. Her subconscious is reaching out to feel closer to you. The wise man, the self-controlled man, doesn't jump to conclusions. He notices, he reflects, he stays respectful, but he also doesn't brush it off. Because mirroring, especially from someone who's supposed to be off limits, is often the start of an emotional bond. And make no mistake, emotional bonds can be more powerful and more dangerous than physical ones. Sign number 2. She shares what she doesn't share with anyone else. This is where things get complicated. When a married woman begins opening up to you, not just small talk, but real emotional stuff, you've got to pay attention. She starts telling you about her past, her regrets, her unmet dreams, maybe even frustrations with her marriage. It's casual at first, a joke about her husband, a sigh when she mentions home life, but then it grows deeper. She says things like, "I can't talk about this with anyone else." Or worse, "You really get me." That's not small talk, that's emotional intimacy, and once that door opens, it's hard to close it. You see, physical affairs don't just happen out of the blue. They usually begin with emotional affairs, with shared secrets, vulnerability, that sense of, "You understand me in a way no one else does." When that starts happening, she's slowly shifting emotional loyalty away from her husband and toward you. And here's where your role matters most. As a man of inner strength, you're not there to become her emotional support system when she won't face issues in her own relationship. You can listen, you can care, but you must set firm boundaries. Don't mistake emotional vulnerability for friendship. If it starts to feel too deep, too personal, too emotional, you're no longer just the nice guy at the coffee machine. You've become her safe place. And that's a place you've got to guard, not indulge. Sign number 3. Her body sends mixed messages, but not by accident. This one's subtle, but it speaks volumes. When a married woman feels a pull she doesn't want to admit, even to herself, her body will often give her away before her words ever do. You'll notice a strange back and forth. One day she's distant, polite, even cool. The next, she's warm, laughing easily, brushing your arm as she walks past, holding your gaze. Just a moment too long. It's not indecision, it's internal conflict. She's battling something inside, trying to stay within the lines while testing where those lines really are. She might not be able to explain it, but you'll feel it. Here's what to watch for. Her eyes lock with yours a second longer than necessary, then dart away like she got caught. She fidgets when you enter the room, touches her necklace, adjusts her sleeve, crosses and uncrosses her leg. She straightens her posture when she notices you nearby, maybe even smoothing her hair or shirt. These little tells are powerful. They're signs of nervous energy, a kind of quiet excitement she doesn't know what to do with. And here's what makes it more complex. These signals are inconsistent. She might go out of her way to act casual one day, even avoidant. Then the next, she's laughing harder than the joke deserved or watching you when she thinks you're not looking. Why? Because attraction under pressure gets messy. She's not unsure of you, she's unsure of herself. Now, the high-value man, he doesn't get pulled into the dance. He doesn't chase it. He notices it but stays steady. He doesn't lean in when the energy gets confusing. He holds his ground and reads the situation with clarity. Sign number 4, she teases your emotions without saying it out loud. This one's the quietest of them all, and maybe the most important. When a woman feels something but doesn't want to be direct, she drops little emotional test balloons. She says things that sound like jokes, but they're really feelers. She's watching to see how you'll react. "You must be trouble for the ladies, huh?" I bet women chase you all the time. "Wish my husband noticed things like that." Now, she'll say these things with a smile, maybe a laugh like she's kidding, but she's not just being playful, she's probing, testing the waters, looking for feedback. If you flirt back even lightly, she'll see that as permission to take things further emotionally. If you stay calm, neutral, grounded, she'll get the message, this isn't that kind of situation. Why does she do it? Because attraction needs a spark to stay alive. These small comments, half flirty, half curious, they're her way of feeding the spark without admitting she lit the match. And this right here is where your restraint becomes your strength. Your reaction sets the tone. Not just for the moment, but for where the whole interaction might lead. Will it stay in the realm of friendly respect? or slide into something deeper, harder to undo. That's your call, because the power isn't in being noticed, it's in knowing how to handle it when you are. Let's step back and call this what it is. Not every smile is just a smile. Not every compliment is harmless, and not every innocent conversation is as innocent as it seems. Sometimes the connection is real, but not appropriate. Sometimes a married woman finds herself unexpectedly drawn to a man who didn't seek her out, didn't chase her, and didn't intend to cause anything. That man might be you. You didn't try to stir anything up. You didn't cross a line. But something about your presence, your calm strength, your grounded energy, sparked something she hadn't felt in a while. And now it's there, right in front of you. In her eyes, in her laughter, in the casual touches, in the silence that stretches longer than it should. So what do? You pay attention, you observe. You don't let your emotions make the decision for you. Because here's the truth. The difference between a man who reacts and a man who leads comes down to self-mastery. The weak man, he jumps at attention like he's starving for it. He sees a little flirtation and dives in headfirst looking for validation. But the strong man, the one who knows who he is, doesn't need that. He doesn't confuse attraction for connection or interest for meaning. He doesn't mistake flattery for value. And here's the thing, you already know. If a woman is showing you these signs, mirroring your energy, opening up emotionally, sending mixed signals with her body, teasing your interest with playful jabs, it's not just coincidence. Something real is there. But that doesn't mean you have to go along with it. Recognizing attraction is part of maturity. Respecting it and not feeding it, that's strength. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Not everything you can have is worth having. Not every opportunity is a gift, and not every moment of chemistry needs to become a chapter in your story. Sometimes the most powerful move a man can make is to walk away, not because he's afraid, not because he's blind, but because he understands what it means to live by a code, to lead with integrity, to protect his own peace and someone else's family from choices that could leave lasting damage. And that's the true test of masculine power, not in how many people want your attention, but in how few can shake your foundation. So if you've ever found yourself in that quiet storm where the looks linger, the conversation gets personal, the air feels electric, you're not alone. And you're not weak for noticing. Just be aware. That's the word. Aware, not ashamed, not boastful, not reactive. Just a man who sees clearly, who knows his worth, and who walks steady no matter what temptation may whisper his way. If this message resonated with you, if it reminded you of your value, your clarity, your boundaries, then keep going deep. This isn't just about attraction. It's about becoming unshakable in a world full of emotional noise. Because you weren't put here to chase every spark. You were made to stand tall in the fire. And choose when to walk away, not because you had to, but because you could.